And at this time on the agenda, next under President's Report is an update on the Illinois Trust Act and immigrant rights. And let's see. So we are all aware of immigration enforcement activity conducted by the federal government in the Chicagoland area and within our neighboring communities. This activity is of great concern to the Village of Riverside and to our residents, and I wanted to take this opportunity this evening to give the board and the community an update on the village's readiness and policies related to the federal government enforcement activities. First, please know that the Village of Riverside and the Riverside Police Department remain fully committed to ensuring the safety, security, and well-being of everyone who lives, works, and visits our community. Our actions and decisions are guided by our core values: sensitivity, honesty, openness, and accessibility, accountability, efficiency, and strong ethical standards. I have received lots of questions from residents regarding this, but most of them relate to one thing: what should residents do if they observe activity that appears concerning and may or may not be related to federal immigration enforcement? The answer is always the same: call 911. You see something, say something, and 911 is the way you say something, any suspicious activity in the village. Police depend on residents using that resource. The Riverside Police Department will respond immediately to any reported or observed federal immigration activity within the village, with the primary goal of protecting public safety and enforcing criminal law. It is important for residents to understand, however, that the Riverside Police Department is prohibited by law from interfering with or assisting in federal immigration enforcement operations. In these situations, the role of a Riverside police officer is limited to ensuring public safety and enforcing state and local criminal laws. The law governing local government involvement in federal immigration enforcement in Illinois is known as the Illinois Trust Act. I would like to ask our Village Attorney, Bob Pickrell, to provide a summary of the Illinois Trust Act. Bob, thank you.
Thank you, President Pollock. I think it's useful to give it just a 60,000-foot view of how criminal law works in America. There's really three bodies of criminal law: federal law, state law, and local ordinances. Immigration is governed by federal law. But the fact that someone can run afoul of federal immigration law does not mean that they're going to run afoul of state law or local laws. In fact, Illinois, our laws and our local ordinances do not govern immigration. We simply don't have those laws. So you cannot be in violation of state law if it relates to immigration. Now, one might reasonably assume that all law enforcement officers, federal or state, can enforce all laws. You'd think that the FBI, the ATF, ICE, and Riverside PD, they can all enforce all the laws. That is in fact not the case. Federal law enforcement enforces federal law, and state law enforcement and local PD enforces state law and local ordinances. Now, it's true that often federal law enforcement and state law enforcement do cooperate in enforcement efforts. One of the exceptions to that is with immigration law. It's because Illinois passed the Trust Act, referred to by President Pollock, that actually prohibits Riverside PD from participating in immigration enforcement. Now, there's a general prohibition, but that includes a number of specific prohibitions which include, first, Riverside PD will not stop, detain, search, or arrest anyone based on their immigration status. In fact, we don't even ask about immigration status. Next, we don't give any resources or assist in any way with federal immigration enforcement. We do not give federal immigration enforcement agents information that is not already available to the general public. And if federal immigration agents were to try and order us, Riverside PD, to assist them with immigration enforcement, we would refuse that order. We would violate Illinois law. Now, the Illinois Attorney General has actually a really useful summary of the Trust Act and its practical implications, which I believe will be making available on the village's website so you can understand better. Now, the other side of this coin is first, we don't participate, but we also don't obstruct. Federal agents, ICE in particular, they have a statutory authorization and they are allowed to conduct those activities and to carry out their purpose. And if we were to try to prevent that from happening, may be considered obstruction of justice, which would render our efforts first ineffective and also undermine our efforts to protect public safety. Now, I realize everything I've just said to you is about a lot of what we don't do. So what do we do? Riverside PD will respond to any report of federal immigration enforcement in the village. Our purpose is to protect the peace, de-escalate confrontations, and if inappropriate, enforce Illinois and local laws. As President Pollock said, if you see something, say something. Call us. And our officers, who are very well trained in these matters, will then investigate the call. If you see something suspicious, let's say you're not even sure if they are an ICE agent or not, just give us a call. We'll come in, we'll investigate, and if something is awry, we'll take the appropriate action. So that's the basic Illinois law on the subject. We're going to be posting more on the website, so if you have more specific questions, you can learn about it there. But I'll turn it back to President Pollock now.
Thank you. I would also like to ask Police Chief Public Safety Director Matt Buckley to summarize the policies and training of our police department and our officers in regards to federal immigration enforcement. Chief Buckley.
Thank you. I want to echo what President Pollock started with, that the Riverside Police Department is committed to protecting anyone and everyone who resides, visits, or travels through this village. As a member of the community and the police chief, I am proud of the fact that we have a very diverse police department. This diversity allows our officers to approach situations from a lens with true empathy. All of our officers are well trained in crisis intervention and de-escalation tactics, as well as continuous review of laws and ordinances and the dissemination and education of new laws and ordinances. All of our police officers are required to take monthly law exams detailing current trends in recent law enforcement activities and current events on the local and state level. During our roll calls, which occurs at the start of each shift, officers review policy and procedures on a regular basis. Officers are also given directives from my office regarding issues that may be occurring in and around our community. As the current president of the West Suburban Chiefs of Police Association and a member of the Illinois Chiefs of Police Association, I have been at the forefront of educating, training, and notifying fellow chiefs, as well as our officers in our department, what is an acceptable response and appropriate intervention. The Illinois Trust Act prevents Riverside Police from participating in or assisting with federal immigration enforcement. All village police officers are trained in the Trust Act requirements, which outline while local police do not engage in federal immigration enforcement, officers continue to have the full authority to enforce state and local ordinances. These responsibilities are essential to serve and protect the community and should not be mistaken for immigration enforcement activities. I want to reiterate that if you see something, please say something. Call 911. The Riverside Police Department will respond promptly and independently. We will never assist any federal agency with civil immigration enforcement. When the Riverside police officers respond to incidents, they arrive promptly. They determine what the course of action needs to take place, and they provide assistance appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Buckley. Also, our village staff has been preparing information to be posted on our website, and I would like to ask Manager Francis to summarize that project.
The village is creating a dedicated page on the village website that summarizes immigrant rights, the Illinois Trust Act, and provides a frequently asked questions, also known as FAQs. Additionally, the village will post links to resources such as Know Your Rights from the Illinois Attorney General, Illinois Coalition from Immigrant and Refugee Rights, and Illinois Immigration Information website. Frequently asked questions, also known as FAQs, and materials that are directly posted on the village website can be, once it goes live tomorrow, easily translated through a link on the village's website with Google Translate. This is to ensure accessibility for all residents. Additionally, the Illinois Attorney General, Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights, and Illinois Immigration Information website all can be translated by the user selecting their language preference. The village will periodically update this webpage to include new state guidance, attorney general resources, and links to other governmental partner organizations offering community education and resources. And to ensure that residents, visitors, anyone that is interested in this information, we will have a banner at the top of our website. It will have a flashing red light, and you'll be able to click on that hyperlink, and it will direct you directly to those resources.
Thank you, Manager Francis. I'd like to conclude this update with an emphasis on a couple of really key points here that we've made that have been covered. First and foremost, people ask me, what do I do when I see something? Call 911. That is your resource to get police personnel to the scene to protect the public safety. And I should say, as an aside note, people often tell me, well, 911, isn't that for fires and heart attacks? No. You need the police department for anything. That's your way to get a hold of the police. So the village, if you do see something suspicious and you call 911, the Village of Riverside Police Department will take every action necessary to protect public safety and enforce criminal law of the state of Illinois and the Village of Riverside. Our police officers will not assist or support federal agents in immigration enforcement activities, nor are they permitted by law to interfere with such federal operations. Their sole responsibility in these situations is to ensure the safety and well-being of our community. Second, it remains the policy of the Village of Riverside, and I'm quoting here from our 2017 welcoming resolution, it remains the policy of the Village of Riverside to encourage diversity and a spirit of inclusion among its residents and visitors. Sorry, I lost my place. To encourage diversity and a spirit of inclusion among its residents and visitors, and to advance the principles of freedom, equality, and justice for all. Again, that's language specifically taken from an approved village policy resolution. And I would say, add in this context, justice for all means justice for everyone, regardless of immigration status. The Village of Riverside stands united in its commitment to these values and to fostering a community where all people feel safe, respected, and included. So thank you very much. There will be an opportunity for public comment later on the agenda. If anyone has any comments, I understand there may be some people attending tonight who would like to comment. I'd welcome any questions or comments from the trustees at this time.
Thank you for doing this.
Agree.
Yes, one question I'd have for the trustees, because I've received this question from a lot of people, is do you feel that our existing welcoming statement, policy, resolution needs to be updated?
I think it could be more explicit. Yes.
I'll take that as direction to the village staff and myself to work on that and hopefully bring that back at the November 20th meeting.